Hello, this is an unplanned, quick. Hey Lisa, hey Liz. I'm going to try to stay on here for just a little bit and not share all of my books because I have way too many. But just to share an idea of what you can find at a library book sale. Trying to flip this. Hold on one second. Okay, well, I don't know why this is. There, yay, it worked. Natilla. I think I've seen you on other ones before. I think I recognize your handle and Green Acorns. Yes, so let me do a quick introduction. I'm Hilda Rebecca Manriquez, and you can find me mostly on Instagram, H5 Manriquez. Hey Ingrid. And I'm a member of Homeschool Scopes TV. And so if you're not, and you're a homeschooler and you're watching this, oh, no problem, Lisa. You know me, I'll talk a little while. And also really enjoy the Charlotte Mason Show Facebook group as well. Homeschooling for 16 years now, mostly Charlotte Mason style, method, philosophy, all of the above. Really enjoying it. I just wanted to, a lot of people ask about where do I find my books, and I am collecting more than the normal, I guess normal, who's normal? The average maybe homeschool family, because I'm trying to build a lending library, and typical, that's another word. Yes, I'm trying to build a lending library, so, but also because we do the Charlotte Mason method or style or what have you, we really have a lot of books, and we really enjoy living books, and I read them for my own self too. But a good resource, a lot of people fill up their Amazon carts, as I do, because that's a quick way to get what you want right now. But sometimes looking at thrift stores and book sales really pay off. A homeschool lending library, yes. I'll talk about that more in another scope probably. But I just go to, I think it's booksalefinder.com. I don't know if it's .nc because that's where I am, North Carolina. But I think this is nationwide. I think you can do this for any state. Hey, Allison. But it will show you, like I'm in Eastern North Carolina, and it will show me book sales that are even in Virginia and South Carolina and North Carolina. Like, yes, I think it is many states. Yeah, good, Valerie. So it tells me, all the libraries around me will tell me when they're having, well, tell Book Sale Finder when they're having a sale. And if I can go at all, I try to go on the first day. Yes, it is more expensive, but it's good to read on this. They'll tell you if it's picked over. If they say that it's not picked over, that means they did not let booksellers go in first and collect all the books before the regular people come. And I am not a bookseller, but I am a book collector. Yeah, so it's very good if they say not picked over, and they'll often say how many books. Like, I don't go to a book sale that's like 1,000 books or 2,000 books because I have more than that. Yes, I don't know what they do with their discards. I asked the same question, Valerie. I should have checked my Wi-Fi. If you keep on getting kicked off, let me know and I'll sign out and back in. Yeah, see, my Johnson County Library has a book sale shelf, and all the hardbacks are 50 cents and the paperbacks are a quarter all year round. And the previous librarian knew me and would tell me before she put them on the shelves and let me go and look through them because she knew what I was doing, and she hated having to discard the old gems. But if they weren't getting checked out, they had to move them out. Like, if they were not being checked out enough, they had to move the books out and make room for the, mass publication ones that are coming out now. And some of the books now are great, but the yeah, but the amount of great books to mediocre books or, weird books is so much different than what it used to be. It used to be a lot more, living books. Now you'll find a handful of wonderful living books, but it's not the norm. Yeah, a lot of your classics like Charlotte's Web and things like that you can still get at the library. So I'll show you some of the things I found. One of the things that, almost so much shelving, it's like someone, like the libraries, I'll have to go into that I guess I could go ahead and say it now, but in the past, the libraries, just starting Monday here, that's awesome. The libraries in the past, the librarians, when they first started, they saw themselves as like the moral gateway to the children that came, and they were very particular over what books that the children read. And they felt it their responsibility that they had to the children and to the parents and the community to only have the best books that had, even if they weren't Christian, a lot of the books were written with the Judeo-Christian mindset, even if the authors weren't Christian. So it's, yes. And I feel like that now, Allison, with my own children, with the people that I share books with. And it puts a lot of accountability on me, and I like that. That's great. Yes, you have a lot of littles to take care of, Liz. My boys are going to make dinner for us. Anyway, and the books that were written from probably 1920 to 1960, some people consider that the golden age in children's literature. You might have heard them. I think you can hear Liz and Emily talk about that on their podcast. This is my library. This is in my library in my house, aka my dining room. Yeah, my library. So, yes, the wallpaper and everything was already here, and I really like what's up there. I probably wouldn't have picked it out, but I like it, so we kept it. It's easier just to keep it and live with it. Okay, that's great, Valerie. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought talking about wallpaper. But about the books in the library, I go to the library book sales and I try to find great living books and useful books for our school and for personal use. It's fine. I have been outside all day. Golden Age of Children's Literature, I think Emily explained it to me from A Delectable Education and from Living Books Library. The time period when, because a children's book is a relatively new idea in history. Like not until somewhere in the mid to late 1800s did the concept even come to write a book particularly for children. It was the Bible or nothing. Everything that they were given to children had to be morally sound and be good for them. Now the mindset is just get them to read it and buy the books, it seems like. And I know that's not everywhere. There's a lot of wonderful authors now that are very concerned for what they put in the children's hand. I'm not saying that for everybody, but it just seems like across the board it's more about selling the books than making them, foundational for their heart and mind. Yes, so one of the things that Emily told me was that sometime around, the librarians were collecting the best books, and they only had a little bit of money to spend on books because it was the community that was giving them money. You think of the one-room schoolhouses that the community picked out the teacher. It was sort of the same way with the library. And sometime around 65, I think, the president, or I don't remember who it is, Emily can tell it so much better, passed a law or something to where libraries would get government money, and publishers found that out, and that's when the mass production of children's books started, and that's when I think the decline, I don't know when she's talked about that with me in person and at the library conference, but I think she did cover that on maybe like one of the Living Book podcasts. I think she talked about it there too. So yes, it's a wonderful discussion. But anyway, listen to her Living Books one, and she will explain it so much better than me. Like I've said before, I take general ideas and I can grasp them in my mind, but it's hard for me to say, what I feel like I understand from listening to others. We had one library conference. We're talking about doing another, but they're thinking about the West Coast, Allison. If you are interested in building yes, you do. It's my favorite podcast, especially for Charlotte Mason. But Allison, if you think that you might want to grow a library and become a lending librarian, DM me on Instagram, and I will tell them you can get on the library loop. I think I talked to someone else about that too, in a group discussion that you might have been in. So yeah, I feel like it is a calling. I feel like it's something to do. A lot of people do it while they're schooling, but I feel like it's something I can do better and more thoroughly after I'm done homeschooling. So my goal is in 4 years, when my youngest graduates, to have my library operational. So yeah, you pick out some of the most wonderful books already, Allison. It's like you have an instinct. So I think you'd be wonderful at it. Anyway, so at the library book sale, I picked up 3 Audubon books. Oh my goodness, Emily is like my library mentor. Go to Living Books Library and read Liz's post about books and so forth, and their top 10 picks for books. The livingbookslibrary.com. Wonderful, wonderful resource for books. They're the same people that do this. Yes, Allison, these are like these. I think these are the older ones, but even on Amazon, I had the newer ones in my cart, at least $15 each. So these 3 books right here paid for everything. I got 2 bags. They were $25 a bag. You filled up a paper grocery bag to the top, and you could even have it a little bit overflowing, and it was $25. And sometimes you can't find enough books to fill it out, but these 3 books right here paid for everything else that I got. And because I had not invested in these yet, because I just didn't want to spend $15 to $19 on them, and I was hoping I could find them at somewhere. So I got these 3, and I'm so excited. So excited. And I found some other, this was in The Language of Flowers in a case, brand new. I mean, it smells new, and it's a gorgeous edition of The Language of Flowers. And a friend of mine told me she just bought a pocket edition at the Biltmore Estates, which is the most famous historical home here in our state, in North Carolina. And these things are not cheap. And I really don't care how much they are, because I got them at the library book sale for hardly anything, and it is gorgeous, and I cannot wait to pretend like I'm somebody in an old book and sit down and read that. Oops, sorry, I shook my stuff. Then I found a vintage field guide to the butterflies. I have another one, but it's not as pretty as this. So it's got black and white pictures, but it's very nice, and it's just beautiful. Then I found a golden guide. And this is a very readable, living book about tree identification that I found that's on Eastern and Central North America trees. Yeah, these are just great, and this one will probably go in the library, but if this is a duplicate, it will go in the library, but these guides will go like where I can grab them for when we do nature walks. And if you watched my scope, I'm going to drop those on the floor. If you watched my scope the other day, whenever I shared what I got from Books Bloom, look what I found at the library book sale, a paperback copy of the same book. I was like, oh, yay! So I can have duplicate in my library or give this one away or trade it in with Jan for another book that I don't have. So I was like, oh, wow, I just saw that book. I got this is a great big living books. They're narrative, so they tell a story. They're conversational. They help you connect with an idea of what the writer is getting across, and not so much just facts and information. I think that's like the quickest way. You can, if you get drawn, yes, well written, good language, not rich language. So you might be reading and come across words you don't really understand, and it like when you read, especially it will help you set in your mind a picture in your mind's eye of what the author is getting across to you. Yes, that's true too, especially with the nature books and the history books. Yeah, someone that's passionate about what they're writing for the nature and history books, and they know about that one thing. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Not someone that's just doing research to get a book out. And you can tell when you're reading it. When you're reading it, you can tell. You learn to just open it up and just read a random paragraph. A lot of times the dust jacket inside the book is good, very, very good to read for you to understand if it's a living book or not. Yeah, not just facts. There are lots of facts in there, but it's presented in a way that you can really envision it and see it in your mind's eye, what the author's trying to get across. So I found this great big book. Someone was asking me about wildflower books on, not regurgitation. Ugh. Those books that are all fact and little bubbles, and they annoy me so much. And I can't retain any of it. None of it. But this is a great wildflower book. And I don't know if it's okay, I don't know if it's okay to share this, but I got this at the library book sale, and freshly pressed inside of here is a marijuana leaf. I'm not joking. Did y'all hear that? It's so funny. We're just dying laughing over here that this was in the library book sale. So, because I like nature, I'm going to laminate it and put it in my nature hut. I just think you find the craziest thing. Oh, in front of this one, in front of one of these are pictures of ducks. One of these. Yeah, in front of my, these were in one of the Nature Journal ones. Yeah, I'm seriously, I'm going to put it on a piece of scrapbook paper and laminate it. Science lesson for kids. Okay, this was something fun I found, because when you're getting books so cheap, you pick up stuff that, you'd never order off Amazon. Yeah, you'd never order it off Amazon, but this book was so interesting. Pronouncing Bible names, because I don't know how many times I have read stuff out and just like blah blah blah. This Brownings, that's what my daughter said. It's not enough. It's only one leaf. So, and it's so nicely pressed. So this I think will be very helpful. I need one of these for Greek stories and Plutarch, pronouncing Plutarch names or pronouncing Greek mythology names. That would be great. But this one's very helpful too. So, like, I would never order this off Amazon, but it's just like a dictionary, and it has the pronunciation of all the Bible names. So that was pretty cool. And because Leah quoted from this book, this is not a book that I probably would have gotten. I mean, I feel like I'm an effective person. I feel like I get stuff done if I set my mind to it. But because she quoted out of this book and it was there, I was like, oh yeah, I'll pick that up and maybe I'll peruse it and browse it sometime. Because I really like the quote that Leah Bowden shared out of this book on her previous scope. So that's, again, something I wouldn't have ordered off of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I picked up 9 hardback G.A. Henty books. Ladies, 9. 9. Do you know how much money I would have spent if I bought those individually? It is, yeah. I got Wolf the Saxon, Knight of the White Cross. I mean, I got 9 of them. Sorry. G.A. Henty books. 9 G.A. Henty books at a library book sale because someone, these were donations. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, the snap shows up. Then because we like history, I found this big, beautiful book. And it goes through, we have a couple more on antiques because we live in an old house and we're always finding antiques, or we have some from family members and just trying to do research. A lot of times the internet isn't the best place to research about antiques because it can be so overwhelming. So a book is a, love their audio reenactment by Henty. Who was that? I missed that. I missed whose audio reenactment. This is the other side. My seashells. These, I think they're called like chimney ones, but they keep your tea hot. They're not as pretty as my dainty teacups, but they keep your tea and coffee really hot for a long time. Yeah. Yes, I found these at the thrift store. I have a couple of them. So I can't tell you where to get them. Yeah, see, when I'm using little teacups, I always have the teapot with a cozy because it just doesn't keep, so you can just keep on pouring. When I do really have tea and sit down and we have tea time, or I have friends over and we have tea, I do it in a teapot with a cozy. But if it's just me, and you know, I do the lazy, the bag in. I know it's not the right way, but it's quick. Yeah, I've heard those are great. I've heard those are really great. Then I found a vintage copy of this and had to get it for the library. And it's in very good condition with the dust jacket. Whoop. I have a couple copies. And then I found another copy of this. I think I have 2 copies, but I think I'll trade this in or give it away. If y'all haven't... Allison, did you share this one whenever... I don't remember when you were going over your Pilgrim's Progress books. If you haven't used this one, Allison, I really, really like it because it's... I kept on waiting for you to bring this one out because I said, I bet she's going to show that one. But it's got wonderful illustrations. See? And it's a retelling. It's a retelling, but it's really fun to read. We listened to the original on audio and went through the lessons. I think some company put out a big book that goes through the lessons, but we when we just want to reread the story, we really like this book. So then I found several of these. My granddaddy read Zane Grey, their Western stories, classic Western stories, and just because my granddaddy read them, I read them. I got like 4 or 5 of those. I got anthology of famous British stories just because they sounded great. I got this one for me, Elizabethan verse and prose. It's just a couple of compilations, so that was fun. And I got a complete works of Shakespeare in a nicely bound book for the library. I got some classics. These might be duplicates, so I will pick out the best copy and, you know, pass along a copy that's not as good. Then I got some that I haven't read. When I read, I really like paperbacks so I can curl up, but I have never read this one and wanted to read that. Yes, I'm telling you. And I got this one because there's a BBC show and I want to read the real story. And I got Cyrano, I don't know how to say it, de Bergerac. Yeah, I want to read this one. What, you read this one in high school? Aaron? Or, oh, cool. Was it good? The show was a little bit, like, I was sad. It was depressing. But I don't know how accurate the show was. Yeah. So I want to read that one. And I got this one just because I don't have it. And this is another one I got just because I don't have it and I want to read it. He's a little crazy, so I think that might be interesting. Oh, really? Oh, this is a good, I have several of his, but this is a good children's fiction author, and he writes a lot of good stories with dogs in it. Zachary Ball. So this is just, I didn't have this, but I have a few by him. Yeah, I haven't read Dorian Gray, but I know BBC did a show on it. So I feel guilty just watching all these shows and not reading the books. So I picked it up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to read all these this year, but I will eventually. This one was real interesting. Yeah, Zachary Ball. Yeah. Yeah, I am about, when I watch stuff with the children, like anything when they were coming up for school, we would never, like, you are not watching that movie until we read this book. But for me, I haven't been that strict with myself about it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, BBC, mostly with BBC, I won't make myself read the book before watching a BBC show because I generally like the show even if it's not exactly like the book because I like what they produce. British TV is so much better than American TV. Y'all didn't hear me say that, but it's true. So, yeah. And the clothing has gotten better. The Mercy Street though? No. As a Civil War living historian and the South, Mercy Street, nope. They just bombed that. But it's okay. It's okay for them to mess up sometimes. I mean, we can't expect excellence all the time, can we? So this is one that was really neat. It's an Old Farmer's Almanac sampler. And it's just fun because you get, there's little quips and there's how to do stuff, like how to do stuff with gardening. Hey, Andy. Like, this is none but the contemptible or apprehensive of contempt. A lot of fun stuff for my quote book or commonplace book. If a man cannot find ease in himself, it is vain to seek elsewhere. Who has no friends nor enemies is without talents or energy. I just was flipping through and I said this would be a fun like tableside book just to open up and read every now and then. I got yet another copy of The Hiding Place to give away because everybody's always asking. Now for historic research on American history and how people, everybody's like, do you have The Hiding Place? So I just pick up every copy I can, and when they ask me to borrow it, I just give it to them because, I want everybody to have that book. But for historic research, yes. I made my son read it last year, and he was so funny because at the first few chapters, because, he's a guy and she's a girl, and he's like, she's just whining about this and that. But as he got into it and he realized what was going on historically in the time period, because he's a history buff, he was like, oh, Mom, I get it now, So it was really neat. I might show my commonplace book. Yeah, that would be fun. But these books, the Foxfire books, I don't know if any of you have heard of them. But sometime, I don't remember if they were written in the 70s. Let me see. Yes, they were written in the early 70s. And what they did was interview old timers back then and ask them how they did stuff. Let me show you the front. So it tells what they go over, and there's 1 through 6, I think, and they're really, really good. Like the first one I got really helped me with my basket making for history, because I didn't just need to learn how to make a basket. I need to learn the way they used to do it throughout history, so when I go to the museums and do a demonstration, I can talk to them about the historical way of basket making and how it's changed. So, and I want to learn that myself anyway. So, and it has lots of real pictures. I think this is Apple. What are they doing? I don't know what they're doing. I just opened it. But anyway, there's real pictures, photographs all the way through. Wonderful, wonderful. This is all about spinning. Wonderful resources for history. I would give them. They might have. I don't know. I found out about the books by looking on the museum. One of the museums I volunteer at. I saw it on the shelf. And this is, I think this is the last book I'm going to show. Unstead, he's a good history writer. So this was there, and I've collected some of his, and his are hard to find and out of print. But this one goes over ancient history, so it's really good, well written, lots of pictures, like real pictures and sketches. So that's another good author. So that's all I have to share. Oh, I did pick up another 5-in-a-row book. Anytime I see a 5-in-a-row book, I pick them up so I can share my duplicates. And James Herriot is one. Have y'all read James Herriot? Oh, I know Ambleside says to read the children's books, and they're really good. I did 5-in-a-row when they were little, and I messed with it a little bit with my grandchildren, but I'm collecting all the books to use for the library so I can loan them out. I love the books. The books are amazing, and I really like the curriculum. I met the people who wrote it, and you know, it's wonderful. Yes, and that's why, oh, your little ones would love 5-in-a-row. You could probably even adapt some of it to your older boys too, Allison. But his grown-up books, the All Things Wise and Wonderful, All Things, whatever, I don't remember all of them, but they're 4 books, and he tells about he's a veterinarian in Yorkshire, and he talks about his adventures, and it's so readable. I've never read any of his books from front to cover, because what I do when I just want to read a enjoyable first-hand account of people, you know, he does a wonderful job describing the people and their character and the interaction he has with them and about the animals. I just crack the book open and just read. It's James Herriot. And I just read the stories, and I feel like I'm right there walking beside of him in Yorkshire going to his visits. I love all of his, I read The Treasury, all of his picture books for children. The stories are so sweet. Let me grab the grown-up books, one of the grown-up books real quick. This is the Treasury. Yeah, I don't know if it's close enough. So this one's really good. And then he wrote all of these. These are for grown-ups. And then they have compilations like James Herriot Dog Stories or Best of James Herriot. So these are the ones he wrote to tell about his life. Now they do have, I think BBC did a show that is about him. And it's a little old, but it's a little slow, so it's not like fast paced like most people are used to now. But I watched a few episodes. No, it's not Doc Martin. It's called I think it's called James Herriot. I don't remember. Or All Creatures Great and Small. It might be called All Creatures Great and Small. I'll have to look that up, and if I do, maybe I'll post on Instagram if I find out what it is, the show. So anyway, I have enjoyed, again, I got carried away with books and enjoyed sharing some books, but I really did this to encourage anybody that watches this to go find your local book sales to help build your library. Amazon is wonderful, but it can get pricey. You can get so much more for your money at thrift stores and library book sales. And they have more than library. Yeah, every scope I do has a book. Or, I don't know. I don't know if I did a book on my wood burning scope. Man, I need a wood burning book. I don't know. So, yeah, unless I handicrafts. But I don't know if there is a wood burning book or not. But anyway, I cannot remember what I wanted to scope about this week. I always have a handicraft to share. I was thinking about, someone was talking about embroidery, and historically a lot of men did embroidery. A lot of military men, the sailors, would embroider their, what they call them, ditty bags or what, I don't remember what they called them. But some of the most amazing embroidery samples I've seen were done by men. And so you think of women doing their ribbon embroidery and their needlework, but some men did it in history. So yes, my boys did embroidery. Yeah, and did embroider. So yeah, there were no women on the ships. Yeah, soldiers did some embroidery too, some of the hats and stuff. So no, it's a true thing. So Carter has learned a little bit, my grandson, and my boys learned to sew a button and use a sewing machine and things like that, because I don't want to send them out in the world without knowing how to do some things like that on their own. But anyway, I will probably see you guys this week sometime. I have a whole list of scope ideas I want to do. I might I found some bones today on a nature walk, and I'm soaking it in hydrogen peroxide, and we don't know what it is. I think it's a dog, but my son doesn't, so I have no idea. So we have to identify those bones. And so if anybody, yeah, but I don't know enough. I'm still learning. Hey, Jessica, if anybody knows about a good bone identification book, please tell me, because I need Jake's Bones is very helpful, but it's hard for I don't think he helps too much with that identification, just preserving and taking care of them. Anyhow, I enjoyed visiting and sharing from my library, and I hope this encourages. Yeah, climb tree. Yes, definitely. Hey, you could get Wyatt to hold the camera, the phone, while you climb the tree, Lisa. That would work. If I had a tree that I could climb, I'd be climbing it. But I don't have one I can climb. We used to have a magnolia tree in my yard whenever I was little, and I climbed to the tip top of that thing almost every day, and I miss it very much. Anyhow, I've gabbed too long, and I will sign off. Oh, yeah, get a GoPro or strap it to your head and climb up the tree, Lisa. There you go. Talk to you later. I'm going to flip this. I've enjoyed sharing. Yeah, like a headlamp. Okay, see you guys later.